Hey, welcome VidCon now. Excited to have everyone dive in with us to discuss TikTok, music marketing, and how these worlds are colliding. Coming to you live from Nashville, my name is Johnny, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Songfluencer. We're a music tech startup that works with artists and record labels to promote their music on social media. I've been in music for over 10 years. Prior to starting Songfluencer, I was an artist manager and marketer. Spent most of my career working at WME. Seeing how the digital landscape impacted touring, charting, things like fan acquisition, the entrepreneur inside of me could not resist starting a company that would help pioneer our industry into a new era. Songfluencer was born. Thanks for joining us, but you're not here to hear about me. I would love to introduce our expert panelists, and I'm going to start with Luisa.
Hi, guys. Greetings from New York. Hi, my name is Luisa Moreno, and I currently work at Rock Nation. Growing up, I was one of those kids that was reading the liner notes to like Backstreet Boys or one of my favorite records, always seeing like who produced what and what music video was directed by who. So I knew that I always wanted to work in music. So I started off in Latin music, started my career over at UMLE, and I worked with a bunch of wonderful artists like J Balvin, Luis Fonsi, and Juanes. And when Rock Nation opened up their Latin division here in New York, started by Romeo Santos, I was lucky enough to join the team, and I've been at Rock ever since. So basically, now I work across both Latin and general market clients here at the label for Rock Nation. Pleasure to meet you guys and to the chat.
All right, and I want to pass it on over to Chelsea.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea Gavin. I'm out in LA. I head up marketing at Electric Feel. I've been doing marketing in the music industry for about 6.5 years now. I actually started in a career in fashion and found that my passion just always aligned with music. So I moved over. I started to do a bunch of internships while I was living in New York, and had an amazing opportunity to move to LA and work closely with artists and management teams. And it was all downhill from there, or I guess uphill from there. But I'm really happy to be on this panel and to share some of the things that I've learned over the couple of, 2-3 years working on TikTok campaigns and overall just marketing. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. And why don't we go to Natalie now?
Hey, my name is Natalie. I help lead digital strategy over at Def Jam, a label under Universal Music Group. Some of the artist projects that I've been working on include Danny Lay, Cash Page, 070 Shake, Nasty C, and a few others. Like Chelsea, I'd also started in fashion, but my passion for music has really made me stick with being at Def Jam. So excited to be here.
Thanks so much, Natalie. And now, drum roll, please, Nick.
Hey guys, thanks for having us. I say us because I am half of a daddy-daughter duo. Me and my 5-year-old daughter, Sienna, we create content. And I want to say about just under 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I downloaded TikTok to be a consumer and just watch some funny videos. And, and I found myself wanting to create music on it. And I've always been music has always been so huge in my life since I was young. And my daughter was probably 4 at the time, and I noticed that she started singing songs that she would hear on the radio, and I started playing more songs around her, and we would start singing songs together. And so we uploaded a video of us singing Senorita by Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello the summer of 2019. And overnight, our lives completely changed when they saw the song and they shared it with their, millions and millions of fans and supporters. And that changed our lives. We've been able to amass almost 14 million followers on TikTok in just a short year and a half. It's been a crazy ride, and it's been amazing to be able to kind of dive into this whole new world of, creating content and, working with brands. And the best part, obviously, is I get to do it with my daughter, and she has a blast doing it. I'm super excited to be able to kind of talk about the other side, the whole marketing with music on TikTok, because it's pretty insane. And I've been watching, a lot of songs and artists kind of blow up because of TikTok. Like it's crazy, but I'm pretty excited about it. So thank you for having us. And yeah.
Awesome, Nick. It's always great to see you. Thanks for being a part of this, but everyone, thanks for being a part of this in general. I just was talking to the VidCon team, and I just think having a panel to talk about music and how all these worlds collide with influencers and artists, and how we build fan bases doing it, and how we market songs, platforms, be super interesting. I'm going to ask Chelsea, Natalie, Luisa, I'm going to ask you guys a lot of questions just about how TikTok impacts the world. And then Nick, just because you have a different perspective on this, I'll kind of pivot some other questions based on their answers or some of their questions, or how the conversation goes based on what I kind of know about your perspective as well. But I'll start with Luisa, and this question will go to Chelsea and Natalie as well. At your organization, when did you start to see TikTok impacting conversations? And what was like your personal reaction? What was like your bosses, your colleagues? Like, what was the reaction when you guys started to see TikTok becoming a thing?
Yeah, here at Rock, we're really good at always keeping abreast and, having partners, creating partnerships with all, developing platforms. So back when TikTok was Musical.ly, we had a relationship with them, and we would always work to get our artists onboarded and have them engage on the platform. Artists are always like another platform I have to create content for. So they kind of always, when there's something new in town, they always kind of don't want to engage with it. But I want to say around late 2018, we started seeing a lot of for example, Willow is an artist that her song Wait a Minute started bubbling on the platform, and we saw it directly impact both sales and her social. So we started to reach out to TikTok to see how could we engage, what ways that we could, we saw it really impact. So we wanted to engage and push it forward. And after that, us as a company, we started devoting more resources to it. We got people to help us, keep track and get a pulse on what's happening. And for me, it's been it's talking now. I mean, everyone knows me. TikTok is something that I am constantly on, because it's a good way to escape reality, and I think we all kind of need that a little bit now.
Awesome. And Chelsea, what about you? When did you start to see all this happen?
Yeah, so, one of the things that I do every single morning, just, being in marketing, is I read all the trades on what's going on just in tech and music. So I, as Luisa said, we all knew about Musical.ly. I still believed, even though Musical.ly, has kind of pushed its way into the industry, a lot of artists, right off the bat, felt it was very, at least the ones I've worked with, felt it was corny. And as Luisa said, didn't want to get on another platform. Oh, here's another thing I have to do now. But I continue to watch the trends of what was happening as, Musical.ly then became TikTok. And once it surpassed as the most downloaded, app, I was like, all right, we really got to hone in here. I personally was not a believer of TikTok, although I saw what was happening, and I'll tell you why. And I think this, what I'm about to say, is really going to help, shift the future of the music industry, because around 2018, when this was all happening, most influencers and, people that wanted to be on social media cared more about looking a certain way on Instagram, whether they were using Photoshop or just trying to look like an influencer or influencer model. And what I was seeing on TikTok was this free form platform where people felt a lot more free to be silly, do choreography, or do something they wouldn't necessarily put on their Instagram. So the way that we initially integrated it into our kind of rollouts was a place for an artist or to use an influencer that would separate themselves from just being this like stagnant figure on Instagram, just trying to look good or trying to get those, paid collaborations from brands. And so I was personally finding it hard to see how we were going to shift into getting more and more influencers over to that world where they felt a little free, and not just posing behind a camera and putting a filter over it. But, as we can see now, I mean, it is the leading force right now in music discovery and the forefront of all marketing campaigns.
Right. All right, Natalie.
Yeah, well, to start, some members of our team have always been following the short form video trends for years, like utilizing platforms like Dubsmash, Vine, Smule, and Musical.ly. So, once Renegade and Say So and trends like that started to spiral out, we started to see that they weren't just impacting on platform, but those trends were leaving outside of the TikTok platform and impacting our artists outside, such as, driving streams, viewership, downloads, saves, and so forth. We've seen these like direct impacts on releases from Frontline and even our catalog Def Jam artists, which include like 10K Cash, Valet, Rihanna, Justin Bieber, and so much more. And we see that in our social and streaming report.
All right. I'm going to ask you about that in a minute, about impact outside of TikTok. So I think that's interesting for sure. Well, awesome. Well, Nick, I kind of wanted to ask that to you in a different way. So when did you start to see music marketers like me or, everyone else on this panel, like starting to approach you? Or when did you start to realize that you were part of a bigger conversation for music marketers?
I definitely, it's so much easier to look back at it now because in the moment you're kind of just like, whoa, like, you want me to do what? Like, that's crazy. So, but looking back now, I can honestly say it was when we really started connecting with our fans. So it wasn't even about a number or the following, which is what you kind of think right away. But I think that once we started connecting with our fans and, developing that relationship to where it wasn't just like one viral video that we posted and that was it. I think it was like once we showed consistency with, our relationship and the reaction of our supporters, that's when companies and brands and marketers like started to reach out and be like, hey, like you want to, promote our song, or even like individual artists would do that too. And you could tell they were really genuine because it wasn't just like a copy paste email. It was, hey, Nick, I've been checking out your page over the last few weeks and your relationship with your daughter is awesome. I think that this song that we wrote or this artist that we represent would, go really well with your brand. And that's always super important for creators. Is you want to keep everything within your brand and your scope. And, I would be lying if I said I hadn't gotten reached out by companies that, we probably just don't line up with our brand, that it would be really inappropriate for us to work with them. But it definitely was kind of mind blowing at first to be able to see that. But it's very humbling to be able to look back now and realize the opportunity, that we've been given. And I don't know if I missed anything on that one, Johnny.
Yeah. Just real quick, a question that I had about that. Was it like a certain follower count that you started to see that, or was there any other indication that you felt?
Honestly, when we started to get into the hundreds of thousands, I think is when it kind of really started. On TikTok, it was, I want to say like 300,000, 400,000, kind of just that big number where like, oh, like they can reach a lot of people. Let's see what they're about,
Definitely. So, all right. So I first asked, how did TikTok, like when was it starting to impact conversations with you guys? How long ago was that a thing? But what about now? How is TikTok currently impacting conversations with your artists and team members? And I also would love to kind of color this conversation on like, are you still receiving any kind of pushback Are there any naysayers? Like, and kind of discuss like why people have that theory or why people are doing that. Because I'm sure there's people with an array of opinions. Once again, I'll point towards Luisa on this one first.
I think TikTok has kind of proven itself. I don't think that there's, at least I haven't really have naysayers. I have artists that maybe feel that, you know, they have a more curated and want to be a little bit more serious, so they don't really engage directly, or like, you know, they're not going to make a selfie video or engage in a trend. But I mean, it's changed to the point where, like, at first we were like asking to like come forward and like trying to get them to on platforms, where now they're coming to us and being like, I want to be viral on TikTok. What do I got to do? And so now it's an easier pull, and it's an easier ask for the artist. And now it's just, you know, now my main thing is trying to get the artist to stay consistent, to continuously post on the platform. Because, you know, during album cycle, obviously we can get them we have content, but like it's a social media platform. So you have to continuously engage on the platform, and you have to continuously interact with your artists.
Right. 100%. Artist involvement is definitely something that, you know, I've heard from other marketers at management companies and labels is something they're constantly working with. And Chelsea, pointing that same question to you, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, so, you know, when we're rolling out our campaigns in general, we'll always put TikTok, you know, as a tier. However, what we've actually noticed, and this is just, you know, I would say more over the last year, is it's something that we look at as sometimes as phase 2, phase 3. And a lot of our artists, you know, we went out straight at the gate going, can we do a TikTok campaign for this? Or, you know, how are we, doing the marketing, and how are we doing the advertising? And what I'm finding is a lot more artists are getting educated on the platform to see that, you know, it's kind of touch and go on the platform. It's not something where, you know, you could just make something go viral. Like, you can, you know, throw in hundreds and thousands of dollars, but if it doesn't connect, you know, whether that means sonically or, you know, the content around the song isn't clicking and connecting, then, you know, there really might not be a purpose for it. So what we tend to do now is to start to see it as next phase, unless it's something that we're, say, sonically right out of the gate, like this would be a TikTok song. And our artists are starting to get that more and more and understand, and not really push back. And, you know, internally, when we are having our marketing meetings and conversations, everyone understands that when you are going to do a TikTok campaign, you know, there needs to be a consistency of, you know, flow of other things going around, right? Like, not just having a TikTok song, but what are you doing around it? How are you amplifying these campaigns? And, you know, I think a lot of the time, most of these things do have more of those organic viral moments, and we're not forcing, you know, the issue here, but when it goes, and you should, you know, really be ready to back that up. So I think, you know, for us, our artists, our marketing team, everyone's on the same page that it's not really touch and go all the time to go right out of the gate with the campaign. And the pushback from any managers or artists are starting to understand that. And, you know, figuring out, you know, maybe another way to push their song or their album first and foremost on another platform, and how it then kind of goes into the TikTok world. Or sometimes we have projects, an EP or an album, where a focus track actually was not the song that raised its hand, and all of a sudden took a life of its own on the platform. So it's a lot of, you know, seeing what happens as we roll things out to other marketing initiatives. But, you know, I think everyone has the education of what's going on the platform and how essentially it works. So we're starting to see that more and more.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just wanted to add there. I mean, for someone that deals with influencer campaigns every single day, nonstop, has worked thousands of them. Artist involvement and artist actually adopting the platform is critical, and adjacent marketing activities It just goes hand in hand. If you're going to come to your marketing team, or to me especially, because people do it every day, they come to me and say, please make my song viral, make it go viral. And my first question is, what else are you doing? And usually, sometimes, not usually, but sometimes the answer is, I got nothing else. And that's not a great answer. And Natalie, what about you?
Yeah, same on my end. Artists are getting more curious as to what drives virality on the platform. And, they have the initiative to go in themselves to see what the trends are doing for them and like what trends their peers are involved in. But while there isn't a major pushback, there are some hesitancy with some of our older artists to dive in and create content on the platform. For them, it seems intimidating to kind of master all the trends and like different features that TikTok, or I guess like their younger peers, are participating in. So I guess that's the only pushback from our end.
Totally. Artists. It's tough. New technology comes out. Artists have to learn new things. It's like, let me just write music. Let me do this, and you take care of the things that I can't. It's tough. I don't blame some of the pushback, but I'm excited for artists that are adopting it. I think it's awesome. Nick, I got a question for you that's kind of going off on a tangent from here. But, you're hearing now us talk about how our organizations are impacted with all of this TikTok stuff. And, you're kind of not really like on the music business side like we are, but influencers like you are critical for songs to take off on the platform. Help the audience members and even the panelists and me, like, why might you use specific songs, and why might you and Sienna do certain trends, especially outside of paid promotions? What makes you think, I want to use this song in my video, or I'm going to do this trend with Sienna?
So it's crazy, like, because I'll step to the side like I'm a consumer, just like I'm just using the app, and it literally comes down to like, what's fun, like, what's exciting, what's a challenge, what's, something maybe I can, teach Sienna something from this trend, like to dance or to sing something, or maybe, there's any kind of, education involved with like, a science experiment or like an illusion, something like that. So that's huge for me, is always making sure that I can involve Sienna where, she can try something new or learn something, or just have fun, or just encourage her to, be herself. I think that's where we typically, because, we make TikToks every day. It's, it's fun for us. It's like, it's one of our favorite things to do, literally just put the phone up, scroll to the For You page, and find something to do just based off of what everyone else is doing and different trends that are going on. So I think that that's huge. It's something that just has to attract, and every audience is different. Just because something works on one person's page or account doesn't mean, it's going to work on somebody else's. And I think that's really important, is to understand, who you're going to work with, and understand their audience, and know that not everything is going to work, with every creator that you work with. So.
Totally. Does what other influencers do impact what you think you should do, or does that not really have anything to do with what you think you're going to do next?
No, it definitely. I would be lying if I said I've never looked at another creator's account and be like, oh, I want to do that because it did great for their page. That doesn't mean everything I see. I follow a lot of people to be entertained by them as well. Like a lot of friends that I have, there's people out there that literally download TikTok to have fun and to try these trends that they see that are, on Instagram because someone posted a TikTok that they thought was funny. They're like, oh, like that happened on TikTok. Let me download it. Let me check it out. That's how I am. Yeah, I mean, I look at our friends' pages all the time and see like what's doing well for them right now. How can we do that? How can we improve, or how can we, kind of just, I think the word is caveat. How can we caveat off of that? So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. That explains a lot. Going back, Luisa, aside from collaborations with influencers, what other tactics are you employing to market your artists on TikTok?
Well, one is just making sure that the music is on the platform. So that's something that that's something that we are always doing. It's a process. Right now, it's kind of a manual thing, but we are always trying to make sure that all of our artists' music on there, even the catalog. To Natalie's point, I mean, how many, here at Rock, with Mariah Carey, she had a huge moment on TikTok as well. So you never know what song is just going to pop off on the platform. It's. I mean, if we knew, we'd be rich. But yeah. So another thing is that I've had a campaign with TikTok this year is merch shopping on TikTok. We partnered up with TikTok and Jaden Smith earlier this year to do a live stream where he was the first artist to do a live stream and where you could purchase merch on the TikTok live stream. So he did a live stream with Addison Rae. We had a bunch of people come in and we bundled, this is before the rules changed, but we bundled the merch items with the album. And so we did see that impact sales and charting for him. So, that and again, just the basics. It's just make sure the music's on there. And when you see something bubble, react immediately to help amplify that. Because again, to all the other panelists' point, you can't make something viral. You can only amplify what you see already happening organically on the platform.
Right. Absolutely. And Chelsea, what do you think of that?
Yeah, so I mean, as we all know, and we've been saying this, you just can't make things go viral, and you can't force, lightning in a bottle with an act or an artist or a song to just go. So we actually take a interesting approach where we want our artists to feel that they should be using the platform and not to feel a certain way that, if a song didn't go or we did, money behind a campaign and nothing came of it. So our approach is actually that we incentivize our artists to become creators, right? So, and that doesn't mean to strictly surround themselves with any content that's music. We have one artist who does these amazing voiceovers. I like every third video she does, it goes viral. And we have other artists who felt like he just couldn't relate to the platform, but he's a multi-instrumentalist and he started to just do really cool vibe guitar riffs. And so by creators, the artists are actually starting to build their own foundation and a fan base who might not even know who they are, right? So I work in very niche artist development. That's really the wheelhouse that I'm in. So a lot of these artists don't even have awareness yet. So simultaneously, they're themselves becoming influencers, and then they have a TikTok, and people are asking, "Oh, why is this isn't verified?" And then the more and more digging there is, people are actually discovering their music. We actually saw that a lot over the last, couple months, especially being at home and during the pandemic, where there was a big surge of conversion from videos going viral of these artists to going over to Spotify and Apple and actually searching in their name and listening to their music, as well as YouTube. So, for us, I think it's really about just using the platform in innovative ways. And so we really are making these, artist creators, whether they like to cook. I mean, one artist who I used to work with at my old company, Charlie Puth, I think is doing an amazing job by being a creator himself. And he's someone that still surrounds his music with what he's doing. But I mean, his numbers are skyrocketing, and it actually, makes me interested to go watch and follow him. So anyone that's watching, if you're, especially an artist that is looking to grow a platform, don't be afraid to be a creator. You don't have to just do music. Like if it's something you like to do, or even if you want to do dances, just build your own platform and everything else will fall into place. It's really a platform of discovery one way or another.
100%. Natalie, aside from collaborations with influencers, what are you urging artists to do? What's your team thinking?
In addition to starting or joining a trend on TikTok, we strongly encourage our artists to post their own unique content on the platform that mostly showcase their personalities and who they are outside of just being an artist. This creates opportunities for fans to interact with them. We also assist and provide a strategy for artists to repurpose content that they may have released on different platforms that fans may not have seen for TikTok consumption. So with that being said, work with artists like YK Osiris, Big Sean, and Janae. I think there's like a different fan base that they can tap in with TikTok. So while they may not be comfortable with actively producing this organic content, we're able to repurpose content for new eyes.
Right. All right. Yeah. For any artists out there kind of watching this or managers out there, I can't stress enough understanding the platform, adopting it, learning how to create content. I think if you're hearing anything from us this evening, I think that's going to be that's a huge takeaway. And I want to send another question to Nick here. Once again, you're hearing us talk about how we market our artists on TikTok, what we're about. You collaborate with so many artists and brands on TikTok. Is there anything you're seeing that you think marketers should do differently to be more impactful? Are there any examples, good or bad ideas that marketers have had? Are there any misconceptions that marketers have had that you'd like to mention? Kind of looking for like what's bad, what's good, what are you seeing are myths or reality?
So we've had great experiences. Sienna is definitely just, enjoying the ride right now, having fun, playing with toys and singing and dancing. So she doesn't really get to see any of that. But from all the calls and, even threads that I've been a part of over the last 2 years, I would say that one thing that I appreciate more than anything is when we're really allowed to be creative and not really much so controlled, I guess. I totally understand, brands have guidelines and, legal contracts and, you have to be careful what you say. I totally understand that. But when it comes to like the creative of a video, there's nothing I like more than being able to really throw my input in, because nobody knows more how the video is going to, interact with our audience than, me and my daughter. And so that is something that's really important, and I always appreciate that. So when we work with companies or brands deals where they're really, strict on what they want done, it really hasn't worked out to the benefit of, the brand or the artist, as much as I feel like it could have if they would have, allowed a little bit more room for creativity and input from, the creator, myself. And I've seen that with other creators out there. I know how other creators, videos respond to their audience and how well they do. And then when you see a video, you can kind of tell that, that wasn't really that creators, because I know all of them personally, and I talk to them about it. So that's something that's pretty big, is allowing, the people that you work with to be able to, kind of really tell you what they think is, will work best. And that comes down to, like small things like hashtags. Over too many hashtags in a caption really it aesthetically will throw off a TikTok for some viewers to look at. Seeing links, like actual links that aren't even clickable in captions. I've worked with brands where they wanted a link in the caption, and it's not even clickable. And I personally think it throws off the algorithm for the entire video. But it's just little things like that. Other things that I love is talking to the actual brand, to the artist or whoever we're going to be working with on phone calls, not just email threads. I would encourage every brand to have a kickoff, no matter how big or small the deal is. It's a song promo or it's a multi-video, multi-Instagram post, campaign. Have a kickoff call, whether it's a face-to-face Zoom or just on the phone for like 5 to 10 minutes. You can just everyone can get in a zone and kind of really get that going. And you can get all of your questions out there. You can talk to the creator and be like, hey, do you think this would work? Think that would work? Because like I said, we've worked with some where it was just an email and we couldn't get a call going and communication wasn't really there. So that really, really helps a lot. And if you're able to, if you're looking for like long term, getting to know the creator, because they are people, and I hear sometimes we're considered human billboards, which makes me laugh because I can see that. I can see artists, and even huge artists like um, wow, how did I just blank on every artist's names? Like Jessica Alba, just anybody out there who does brand deals. Like they're the same exact thing. Where it's on such a smaller scope, but still like I love getting to know people. I love having these calls and talking to these brands, and expressing my gratitude for them to wanting to even work with us. So that's huge for me. Yeah, I think there's really. I think misconceptions, one of the misconceptions would probably be like, every video is going to go viral. And that's not the case. It's sometimes, the algorithm isn't your best friend, but I do encourage brands and artists out there that are working with, creators to not expect of a 10 million viewed video overnight, because sometimes it's it doesn't happen like that. But I think the more that you rely on the creator to connect with their fans, the more engagement you're going to get. Whether it's if it's 500,000 views, you might actually get more engagement to that song than you would have got if it was like a a 10 million viewed video, and people kind of scrolled through it because it was just another trend, just another was going on. But I hope that little part makes sense. It does, Johnny. I can clarify a little bit.
No, man, that's perfect. I think that's great. So it's funny that you mentioned like brands asking you to put links or hashtags or different things in there. It's I think something we all kind of evaluate, and from a marketing standpoint, there's things we want to do and things that just don't work for TikTok, right? So we're going to do one more of these kind of questions, then move into a Q&A. But I do want to just see if any of the panelists have some general takeaways that they want to, give to the audience. If there's artists out there or other managers out there or label representatives out there, what are some of the things you've learned? Are there any tricks? Are there some misconceptions, things you thought you knew a year ago that now, as you've learned more about the platform, you're like, that was an incorrect line of thinking?
I love to.
Chelsea, yeah. Chelsea,
yeah. I think the one thing, and it will kind of just bring back to what I said in the very beginning about how I at first wasn't really a big believer of the platform because of how freeform it was. And we were coming from a world where, everything is so polished on Instagram. But the one thing I will say for anyone watching this is do not be afraid to try again. Consistency on this platform is so key. I mean, the rate at which we're scrolling through TikTok is insane. I did a couple digging just the other day just to see where stats were sitting on TikTok. And I mean, on average, people are on the platform for 52 minutes a day. So basically 1 whole hour, someone sitting there and scrolling. And I think it's so important that you just keep posting consistency. And if it doesn't work on your page, just take it down. Chances are half the people missed it anyway. And I think just keep going and trying is just super important. And another thing is don't just think that it's a platform for kids. I believe over the last 18 months, adults 25 and older grew by 5 times on the platform. And I'm sure anyone that is an advocate like I am, you'll see a lot more adults using the platform. So just figuring out ways to really feed the masses, because it's not just about using the creators that are forward facing, also diving into the cooking. I mean, the amount of cooking, I think those come up now on mine more than anything. And it's not just someone that's making recipes. You have people that are mastering and doing the air fryer, and just being really creative on each pillar of what creativity is on that platform. And if you are doing a campaign, don't just try and go for the person that's making up the dance or continuing a dance trend. Just find, just little crevices and avenues that you might act through the. So, that's something that I think is really important to take away from this.
Yeah, I would like to add to that. I mean, one misconception that some people who are not on TikTok might think that it's still just maybe mainly a platform for dances, and especially a lot of the influencer campaigns that maybe labels traditionally run just because it's easy and turnkey as a dance. But like there are different TikToks. Like there's cooking TikTok, there's home decor TikTok, there's relationship TikTok. So I would suggest be creative and think outside the box, and maybe thinking instead of like a huge, big, campaign, maybe go niche and find some micro influencers that you can work with to kind of hone in and target that target audience that you're trying to hit. And be creative. The platform is a platform that allows you to be creative and quirky and weird if you want to, engage and post authentic content because that's what people want to see. Don't repurpose the content that is working on other platforms and cut a vertical edit and post it on there. I mean, if you have to, do it, but people want to see the artist. They want to get to know the artist. So the more curated and the more authentic and lo-fi your content, you'll see that it actually performs better.
Yeah, and then just add the biggest main takeaway from marketing your music on TikTok is that the artist should and must be active and involved in all campaigns to continue connecting the dots between a trend and a viral moment and the artist. I think oftentimes we lose sight of who the artist is and the song that is going trending or viral. So I think it's very important to make sure to connect dots. And also through this, you'll be able to get more genuine approach to the overall campaign. And then I guess like the biggest thing that I've learned over the last year is that I think a year ago, again, like Luisa said, everyone just thought that TikTok was strictly just dance. I mean, nowadays you can't really predict what's going to trend or what's going to go viral on the platform. And you're able to enter these like little niches on the platform and target those different audiences. You just can never predict what the next song or what that trend is.
Yeah, I think if someone told me a year ago that a trend of skateboarding with a bottle of cranberry juice in your hand was going to be a trend, never would have believed it, or in mixed case milk.
Mayonnaise.
Oh, it was mayonnaise. That's right. Anyway, well, this is a time that we're just going to kind of jump into some Q&As from the audience. I have access to the document, so I'm going to just kind of throw some questions out there. We only have about 15 minutes left, and there's a ton of questions. We're unfortunately not going to get through all of them, but some of the questions I think will kind of overlap. One of the ones that really struck me, and I'd like Nick to maybe chime in here first, and everyone, I think this is just a free-for-all, guys, so if you guys just want to chime in, but this will be really good for Nick. This is from Jasmine. Do you believe certain genres are more popular on TikTok, whether it be because it's more well-received or more creative?
Honestly, it's a hard question to answer because everyone likes their own type of music, and TikTok is curated to the videos that you like as a consumer. So the more videos you continue to like, you're gonna like music that you tend to listen to. But I have seen BTS, K-pop songs blow up. They were already very huge before, but like for a huge demographic of people that have probably never listened to Korean pop to be listening to a specific song like for a week straight, and that song just be dominating TikTok. It goes to show that I don't think it is curated one specific genre. I do really believe though the power. There's been songs from India that have gone viral on TikTok because of a video that everyone listened to. Songs and kind of setting out a genre real quick, but like Fleetwood Mac, so many people in this younger generation learned Fleetwood Mac because of that viral video. But I personally think the more fans are receptive to a song, the better it will do on a platform, given that, it does have that opportunity to kind of get out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any opinion on this?
Yeah, I thought at first that it was leaning a lot more hip hop, but then it kind of trickled into like songs like Tame Impala and The Neighborhood, where all these songs were either being remixed or pitched up or pitched down, where you didn't even really know what the song sounded like. And that happens to me quite often, where I am listening to viral TikTok playlists on Spotify, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what this song like actually sounds like. It must have been, pitched up or pitched down. So I think that over time, it's really about the content that's created around the music. To what Nick said, like, we are served videos based on, our behavior. So I think over time, if you're a consumer and you're an active user of the platform, you're going to get served. Like if you're watching, constant dancing videos and that's what you like, you're going to probably hear more of those like songs tailored to that. Whereas I'm a lot more diverse in the content that I like to watch on the platform. So I'm getting served everything. And so I personally do think it once leaned very heavy hip hop, where now you're seeing this big rise in indie and pop and just songs being remixed. And I think it's really become a free for all. Look at St. John, the Roses remix. I mean, that blew up, and it was all about the song being remixed and then hitting the platform. So it's about creativity of the genre itself.
100%. Luisa, you were about to say something. Do you have an opinion about this, or?
Yeah, at Rock, obviously, we have a lot of hip hop and R&B acts, and developing hip hop artists would upload not even like snippets, just like of unreleased tracks, and then it's gone viral, and we've had to release the music, but like afterwards, it's just not like the best. But yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of success on Dream Chasers too, which is our joint venture with Meek. A lot of their acts as well. And I would just stress to, a lot of catalog has kind of blown up like on the platform as well. So I would really stress to everybody, all the music marketers out there to kind of go through and make sure that all the catalog is uploaded too. So that way you can take advantage, and just, again, you never know what's going to pop up on the platform. So better to just make sure that everything's on there so you can give yourself the best opportunity for success.
Awesome. So another great question I saw is coming from Stacy. She asked, does having a song go viral on TikTok indicate the future success of an artist? How about Natalie? Do you have any opinion on that one? You're smiling a lot.
Yes and no. Again, like going back to what I had said earlier, it's very oftentimes people lose sight of a viral song, and it often just stays as a song and no one follows the artist after. So I think it's very important for that specific artist to be involved and active on wherever they're marketing, especially on TikTok and where that song went viral, to connect the dots, because it could either go left and right.
100%.
I would also like to add, sorry.
Go for it,
Nick. It's Charlie Puth is a perfect example. When he started making TikToks, they were blowing up. They were getting millions and millions of views. But that doesn't mean every video that Charlie Puth posts gets, as many as his first few did. TikTok it evolves daily, weekly, and it's a beast. It really is, and I've experienced that with my videos as well. We are working on original music and waiting to release that. But when I do release it, I have the mindset already that, just because one goes viral, if it doesn't mean every single one is going to go. I think it's a really good mindset to have, to not expect it right away. You cannot just expect, boom, this person did it, it's going to work with mine. You have to have that mindset to keep working for, keep driving, stay consistent. I think consistency has been a word that's come out of everyone's mouth in this panel because it's so important on TikTok, and it's so easy. TikTok is so easy to be consistent with. You can post a 15-second video of you just singing a little riff right then and there in your hallway, and it can do wonders, but just because it doesn't mean you should stop. So
Yeah.
I would actually love to cut in on that too, because Johnny, we actually had one of our campaigns with you with this artist named Joseph Black, who actually we had the opposite effect where his song went viral before anyone knew who he was. And then as we saw, the song ramp up, Ricky Desktop did this killer, little mashup to the song. And then it took a complete life of its own. And for us, it was all hands on deck about, okay, now the song's going. No one knows who Joseph Black is. Like, what are we going to do? And, during that entire time that this was all happening, we quickly signed him between Electric Feel and Capital. And all hands on deck, all forces, A&R, marketing, we're all like, how do we just keep, pouring gas on the fire? And, the one thing that I see more and more artists do now, and if this does happen to you, if you do have a song that goes viral on the platform, show TikTok who you are. As corny as it seems, like to be like, this is my song and my name is Joseph Black, and having that in the background. And just as Natalie said, the importance of connecting the dots, because you can have a lot of these artists most likely are going to have what now are one-hit wonders on a platform, and you have to play catch up. And it's not a bad problem to have. You just have to be ready to chase it once it happens. And we're still doing that now. And we, as fast as we could, started releasing more music, and every DSP wanted to know what the story was, because just having a song on TikTok can only bring you so far. But if your overall goal is to really build yourself as an artist, then you need to play catch up, and you need to start, building the rest of the building blocks to become an artist. And, keep doing that, keep connecting the dots, keep telling people this is my song, and don't be afraid, to be the face of it if you want to be. So stay tuned for Joseph Black in 2021, because there's more good things to come from him.
Luisa and Natalie, do you guys want to, either of you, touch on that? I can move on to another question, but if you guys had anything to say.
She said it perfectly.
Yeah, Chelsea nailed it on the head there. I can't even say anything to that. Perfect. All right, there's another question here. Nicole Weinstein is asking, how do we as marketers avoid coming across as corporate and maintain an organic feel when marketing music on TikTok?
Nick's comments were really impactful for me, because I actually am coming up with a campaign right now, and we're thinking about the creative, and I think the creators are the creators, and giving them maybe some guidelines, but letting them do what they do best. Because I can't tell Nick what's going to work on his channel. And I can give him I want you to do this and hold the McDonald's cup right here and do this and do that. But ultimately he knows what best resonates, and letting them, obviously give input, but letting them kind of do their thing. That to me resonated. And I'm going to use that moving forward. So thank you for that.
Of course. And then honestly, it comes down to communication. That doesn't just mean let me make the video and then just post it without you looking at it. The communication is huge for me to kind of draft something up, just a creative, let you read it, bring it back to me with your notes, and that's the big thing right there. But I would say relating to the creator that you're working with, don't just come in and just kind of sound, these corporate. I think that pretty much answers it, just kind of relate to them as a human being. Yeah.
100%. I think, just to echo you, one of the things I notice most is really, if anyone's done just kind of some surface level Gen Z demographic research, I think one of the first things that you'll hear about is they don't want to be sold. The first thing when they start to smell that something's bought, they're out. It is not something they want. So even when we're setting up, influencer campaigns, it's the hardest thing for me to explain to clients. You need this to look organic. I know you have all these high level, hashtag ideas, and you want the biggest, baddest people, and you want the Nick and Sienna level artists to post on the day of your release. But what does that look like if you're a user on platform and you see a bunch of influencers posting with, pre-drafted hashtags and captions? It just doesn't look like anything. It looks like crap, and they sniff it out. The Gen Z, the kids that are actively creating these TikToks, they smell it, they see it, and I think we have to believe that they kind of pull back from that and they move on to something different. So the last one I had, there's two questions that I thought were really kind of could be answered one and the same. And it comes from Lauren McCluskey and then also Marhesha. The question is, what are some tips for brand new artists starting out on TikTok, specifically suggestions of what their first few posts could look like? And then Marisha also asks, for artists native to TikTok, is it important for them to have a presence on other social media platforms? So all about content here, doing stuff on other platforms, especially if they're on TikTok a lot, but also what can new artists do on TikTok?
I cannot Oh, sorry. I can't tell how many times I saw a TikTok and I immediately grabbed my phone and said, "Hey Siri, play this song." So I think it's huge for you if you're an artist and you want to get your music out there to have all your ducks in a row, have your stuff lined up. If you're going to put a song on TikTok and there's a chance of it going viral and millions of people seeing it, you better have that song on Apple Music, Spotify, something for people to be able to find it, because it will happen. I've done it so many times, and sometimes I'm disappointed to not find an artist on Instagram or YouTube or something. So
yeah, I was just going to say that nothing happens in a silo. Like you have to have points and things happening everywhere, because the worst thing that I would want to do as a consumer is to be so excited about an artist and then go to their Instagram page or whatever and there's nothing. I'm gonna forget about you. Like what you want is somebody to go on a deep dive and Wikipedia you and go on YouTube and watch all your videos and subscribe and do all that. So nothing happens in a silo. You have to it's consistency across all the platforms. Continue to make as much content as possible and share it everywhere, because you never know where you're going to get picked up.
And I think the question, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was, as a new artist, like what type of content should you be posting for your first time? And the one thing I will say is TikTok has really it has completely changed the landscape of the music industry, where people used to sit in cafes to discover new talent. So right now we're having so many people discovered that are from their bedrooms in the middle of America or even internationally. So and what all these kids and even people in the music industry looking for is that real connection. You can't fake that, and you can't force it, but just show who you really are, because these kids are wanting to connect with you from a very early stage. So if I found someone, I don't want to just hear about your music, like show me more about who you are, like really open, yourselves up. It's a platform, I keep saying this and reiterating, it is a free form platform to do things that, you might not do on any other platform. So experiment and show people who you really are, because when that A&R or marketing person finds you on TikTok, to what Luisa said, they're going to want to know everything. They're going to do that deep dive. So you better have all your ducks in a row to really tell that story of who you are. And, music will always lead, but your star will only rise as far as your song if you are behind it and organic to who you are and showing that to the world. So, post your music, post about you, do all those little closet hauls and show your favorite recipe with your mom in the kitchen. I mean, people love to see all of that. And again, consistency, and you can always take it down if it didn't work on the page.
One of the things that I always recommend to artists that are especially scared at the start of like their TikTok journey, create a dummy page. Like if you're afraid to put out your artist name out there, and attack, your real audience, and you're just afraid to like flop, create a fake page. Do it that way and figure your thing. It would it'd be rough if something took off because then you'd have to like rebrand and figure something out. But it's probably the best way to figure out TikTok before attaching your name to it if that was something you wanted to do. Natalie, I don't want to cut you off. Do you have something to say just about what artists can do when they're first learning TikTok, or any kind of concepts or trends they could do?
Yeah, I can answer the first question. So for an artist starting on TikTok, I would just like recommend just having fun with it and being on the platform, seeing what's trending within their For You page. Because in that way that TikTok will build an algorithm for them and show them what they might like and what they can participate in and expose them to that community. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, on that note, Natalie, I think we're going to wrap up here. It's been fantastic. Thank you all for joining us. It's been amazing. Nick, always love seeing your face. I love seeing everyone's face, but Nick's my homie. And we'll talk soon. Just wanted to say, VidCon now, it's been great. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for having us.